Welcome back to Cool Club's headquarters here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Today we are greeted with Mark Tim, CEO and founder of Cool Clubs, and we're really lucky to have Zach Oakley here from Callaway, and this is pretty exciting. This is obviously Embargo Lift Day, or at least it's being released on Embargo Lift Day. We are going to talk about Callaway's new Paradigm products, and this is on you. Go for it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Glad to be able to do this in person and show you guys all this new stuff. So, Paradigm family, it's from head to toe, driver to iron. A lot of people think, they're expecting Epic. That's kind of been our cadence for the last couple of years. And same thing with Apex, but we are coming to something totally brand new. It's all about the new materials we're using, the new construction we're using, and our R&D's design prowess here. So let's get into it. And it starts with the driver. So when we're looking at the driver, it's all about this new construction we're calling Paradigm Shift Construction. And it's about the 360 carbon chassis. So we're actually taking all the titanium out of the body. There's no aluminum. There's nothing holding this together except for carbon. And I'll pass this around here.
You can get that pretty close to the camera to get a good idea. It's just got to be tight.
Yeah,
it's
so
pretty cool on the inside. It doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah, we're taking a ton of weight out of the middle. I mean, obviously, people have been trying to do that for a long time with titanium. You got Traxial carbon, carbon crowns. But the way that we're able to do this with the forged carbon, that's really kind of the driver of this unique technology. So there's two types of carbons. We have the Traxial carbon, which is what we've used on our crowns historically, which is great for taking weight out of the top of the golf club. But this new forged carbon is what's really unique. So what that is it's a bunch of chopped carbon fiber that we actually forge together, and we can make it into unique shapes. We can control thicknesses. You can't do that with the long form triaxial carbon. That doesn't like to go around corners. It's really good for just uniform surfaces. But with this new carbon, we're actually able to do really cool, unique things with it.
So you've blown this driver up into 4 key pieces. So you've got face, which we'll get into much more detail about. You've got weight track, and then essentially top and bottom carbon.
Yeah, and so it's the 4 pieces, and really what that does is it allows us to enhance our ball speed technologies by taking weight out of the middle, move it up to the front, and then we can also improve our forgiveness and our MOI by moving it to the back. A lot of times when you have these weight tracks and you're adding this type of adjustability, you're actually losing MOI, you're losing forgiveness, so you kind of have to make a trade-off. But with this new construction, we're eliminating that completely.
I've never seen anything like that where the body...
No, neither.
The body's split. It's blown up.
Yeah, it's definitely unique, and I think when we talk about, we'll get into kind of the stats, but what it's able to do downrange in terms of consistency and forgiveness, it's something that our engineering team is very excited about.
Which is exciting for Mark and I in the industry. We saw the last driver. We robot tested the last driver. Right. It killed it.
Yeah.
So if you guys are excited about this one, yep. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, internally we were basically saying, like, hey, we didn't really have any weaknesses with this particular, with Rogue ST Max. So with Paradigm, we're really just kind of taking it to the next level and elevating, a product that was already really great.
So at this point, nobody's actually used like a forged molded carbon fiber in a driver before, because obviously I've never seen front being totally connected from the back, and to make these kind of angles and sizes, obviously in carbon fiber, is not something you typically see in carbon fiber, because it's sheet, so it's easy to lay around and whatever. But these got quite a few sharp edges and stuff. So the only way to do this is mold it or forge it. But I don't think I've seen this in anything before.
Yeah, and especially with this material, the forged carbon, it's proprietary to Callaway. So that's part of the reason why no one's done this before, is that
right.
we came up with this material, so that's a nice little advantage there.
Well, in an ideal world, from an engineer standpoint, you really just want a face and then some weight way back.
Yeah,
and that's about it. And that's kind of what you've done here.
If
really.
you could make the middle air, that would be the best.
You're pretty close, because what's the total weight of this whole center section? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, but I know that we're saving 20 plus grams. It's actually
that's huge.
It's actually 44% lighter than an all titanium chassis.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Cool.
You guys move a lot of weight. That's good.
What's on the front?
Yeah, so
exactly.
we've got the 360 carbon chassis. We know that's kind of the big hero of this product, but there's a lot of things that we're doing on the front side too. So pass around the Forge face cup here. This whole unit. First time we've ever used a face cup in a driver. It's something we've known for with our irons, but moving it to a driver is something that's different. We've also got a new jailbreak system in here.
So that's interesting. So you said you'd never done cup face technology in a driver.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, so we've done it in irons, and then
Right.
we've done it in fairway woods, and we've done it in hybrids. So
Yeah.
we've done it across.
So why,
a lot
why
of-
would you not have ever done it in drivers?
Well, so with the driver, a lot of it I think has to do with the jailbreak system and,
gotcha.
and getting those to work together and
Right.
talk to each other. I know that's something that they've wanted to do it for a while, but getting a structure in there that can talk to each other and support the face cup and the jailbreak together is important.
And you've obviously, you can see a picture of it here, changed the jailbreak substantially too. This is much thinner. It's kind of a wishbone design.
That used to be like 4 posts.
Right.
Kind of thing.
But the advantage to that, obviously, it's thinner all the way across and has a lot of strength side to side, so up and down, so it doesn't expand and stuff, which is what you originally put it in there for.
Yes.
But without the rods and stuff, obviously, you're saving a lot of weight there as well, right?
Yeah, so this new jailbreak system's about 25% lighter than the previous speed frame iteration. And to your point, we've had a couple bars, we've had speed frame, we even have different ones for fairway and hybrid as well. And a lot of it comes down to another technology we're going to talk about, but the use of artificial intelligence and trying to find the right shapes and weights and sizes to really get the most out of what we're putting together.
Great.
So does the AI face drive the jailbreak technology, or vice versa?
So that's a good question. I think a lot of times it's what we're trying to do is we tell the computer essentially where we want to go and where we want to be, and then the computer sort of works together and finds a lot of that
That's
out.
kind of the advantage of AI, right? So, if you want to drive it by the jailbreak or whatever, but the computer, you feed all of them in, so it's actually running all kinds of iterations with all those things moved. So
Yeah.
That's something you can't do as a human, obviously, because there's millions of different options. But as a computer, you can look at all those things at once, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, it's a good segue into the AI because we feel like at Callaway we're kind of the industry leaders in this technology. We kind of were at the forefront, and we've invested a ton of money into not only over the last few years, but even going forward, we're still investing in it. We're adding new resources. We're adding people to come and help us, work through all the different softwares, and we've written 30. We have like 30,000 lines of code that a lot of it has been written internally too. So, AI is something we're heavily invested in, and we're going to continue to be invested in. And to your point about how does it work? Well, a lot of times the computer doesn't necessarily know how to create a driver face, so we have to put in all those parameters. We have to put in
Right.
conforming all these different data points, and then the computer has to go run
Well, quick question for you. When did you start with the AI? What year was that? And when did you buy the big computers?
So that would have been Epic Flash, and that would have been 2018, I think.
Okay, so you've had it for 4 or 5 years now. at
Yeah,
least,
yeah,
right?
we've.
Well, I
and
mean, you
that-
got a big advantage, right? You talk about the 30,000 lines of code. Well, those you've written to take a look at things and adjust things. As you keep increasing that over time, your AI becomes much more effective.
Yeah,
So you're
it's-
probably learning a lot along the way. on
100%.
What to ask the computer even to look for, right?
Yeah, we are learning a lot, and it's one of those things where the more we do it, the more we can refine it. We really feel like we've only scratched the surface when it comes to AI.
That's what everyone's spooked about with AI and the rest of the world. It's like how do we control this? So I guess you're kind of reaping the benefits at this point, and it's working in your favor.
For sure. So when we look at what we've done differently this year, in the past, we've optimized for speed. We were talking earlier about how great Rogue ST Max is in terms of launch and spin. So we've optimized the AI formula for all of those things. But this year, we're adding in a new component to that formula, which is downrange dispersion. So if you were to go test this with player testing, you stick it on a robot, you're going to see that pattern, that shot pattern out there down the fairway, come in about 30%. So really adding forgiveness to the face now as well.
So like turning the bulge, I'm not saying we're going to dumb it down here, the bulge and roll kind of stuff, but you're making that even more effective through the face.
Exactly, and that's the key. Is it's the way that the pattern is put on the back.
Is
of
the
face.
AI primarily on the face stuff, or is it looking at the whole driver and adjusting all things?
It adjusts
So
everything.
it's looking at everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's focusing on the face a lot because there's a lot of
Yeah, you can see
variabilities there. There's
the
lots of
circles
variables
in
you
the
can do.
face. You can actually feel them with your,
Oh, yeah.
with your
There's all
finger.
kinds of bumps and ridges, and certainly nothing intuitive. And a person would not come up with this face configuration. There's no way, and it's not happening.
Yeah, even our Dr. Alan Hocknell, who's I was listening to him talk the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, no, we couldn't do it." And if you know him, he's a smart guy.
Oh yeah,
So,
Anything else to touch on the driver?
well, yeah. So I think we should go into kind of the models, right? I think
yeah. Let's see the different ones. Yeah.
So there's 3 different models. We're going from 4 to 3. Last year we had kind of your up the gut Rogue ST Max. We had the Max LS driver. We had the Triple Diamond, and we had the Max D. This year we're going to have the core standard Paradigm driver, and then we'll have a new model called Paradigm X. So that's going to be kind of like the Bombers model. It does have a little bit of draw bias, and it has a more stretched profile.
Okay, yeah.
I'd say it's similar to where we are with Rogue ST Max currently in terms of shaping, in terms of ball flight. It's going to be the highest launching, but it's not necessarily like a dedicated draw model. I think we're going to be able to capture more players with this new X model, and then you'll probably see most players will fit into the standard Paradigm model. And then we'll also have the Triple Diamond as well, which is your better player.
Right.
So there's not a standard shaped low spin anymore. That's the one that's been cut. So you've gone Triple Diamond, and then a standard, and then a kind of draw version.
Well, I would say the standard model is kind of our low spin model.
Right.
It's
Gotcha.
our most forgiving low spin. Then you have the X, which is kind of your highest launching, still really forgiving, and then your Triple Diamond, which is your 450cc, more penetrating ball flight.
Okay.
So you kind of arrange them by ball flight, right? So
Yeah.
penetrating on the tour, the middle one's kind of in the middle, and you've got the one to help everyone that needs distance. Just getting to be me as well.
And in the X, I mean, is there any big body changes? Like you put the big weight and it's in a fixed position.
Yeah, no, exactly. So the X has a fixed weight in the back. There is a little bit of draw bias weighting, but it's not like a fixed weight or anything like that. And on a Triple Diamond, there's actually 2 interchangeable weights. So you'll have a 14 gram in the back, and a 12 gram in the back, and then a 2 gram weight in the front.
You can flip that, and obviously
Yeah.
lower spin.
Yeah, exactly. So if you
You
want
give
to,
up a little forgiveness. Obviously.
yeah, exactly.
Cool. Awesome.
So we're not able to show the video, but I was going to share some of these numbers with you. We obviously have tested this with our tour players, and we got first impressions. So with Rogue ST, John Rahm was averaging 177 mile-an-hour ball speed and a carry distance of 312. When he tested Paradigm, he jumped up to 181 ball speed and a carry distance of 318. So we saw a nice 4 mile-an-hour jump there, six more yards of carry.
Wow.
As Xander, 175 to 179 ball
Another
speed.
4 miles an hour.
Yeah, another 4 miles an hour, 4 yards in carry distance. And then Rose Zhang, one of our LPGA players, she went from 137 to 140 with a carry of 230 to 237.
Still
So
a similar ratio, though, as far as percentage-wise. That's a lot.
Yeah, picking up a club or half a club on the back end.
Now, how are we doing that without CT going over? But anyway, I won't get into that.
There's the button. Red button
Yeah.
gets pushed.
But
Yeah,
that's impressive. 4 miles an hour is a lot.
it is a lot. And I think, too, the other thing that I'd love to highlight is that obviously, John Rahm and Xander getting, a bunch of ball speed is great. But you're also seeing it on the LPGA Tour. And a lot of the LPGA Tour players their swing speeds are closer to what us mere mortals are.
We really ought to be looking, most of us at the LPGA, for what clubs are being out there than regular.
100%. So you're
Most
seeing
of us that average swing speed, not the tour flies.
exactly. So you're seeing this ball speed gain across all different swing speeds, and which is great because sometimes you come up with these innovations and they work better for faster swing speeds or different. They're not
That's definitely true. We do robot testing at different speeds and stuff, and we have noticed. Last year when we did some testing and stuff that some drivers work better at higher speeds, but if you can get it all across the board and get 4 miles an hour from 137 miles an hour versus 177, that's pretty big.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm much closer to that 137 ball speed. So.
We didn't touch on this. A lot of companies, I think, because we've pushed the boundaries in the industry so far right now, they kind of go down the route of we can't make our technology do anything more, which obviously you guys can. But they're making the shapes faster through the air, so they're making the person move the club faster. Have you got any of that stuff going on in this design?
Well, I think that our design currently. We liked where Rogue ST Max was. There's not necessarily like an aerodynamics component that we're like saying we're pushing that. I think we've got the shapes that we like, the shapes that are accepted on tour,
Right.
and so we're going to continue to refine those. I mean, obviously, if we can make them faster, we'll make them faster. I don't think there's not like it's not like we're not paying attention to that. I think we are, and
Yeah, I think everybody is at this point, and you
Yeah.
have been for a long time. So, I think most of those companies are really, that talk about that as gaining speed, and it obviously affects. The higher the speed, the bigger a difference. So
Yeah.
for most of us, that doesn't make that much difference.
Exactly,
So
and this is just a
it's bit of a
completely
marketing thing. Yeah.
different line of improvement. Lots of people talking about moving the club faster. Well, then there's an exponential gain to ball speed. You'd hope, but it's interesting that you guys haven't gone down that road. So that's cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Still on driver, or I mean, this is a whole family.
Yeah, so I'm trying to click through my slides here because this is
There's
not
no rush. You're good.
set up that way. But yeah, so it's a full family. So like we kind of said at the outset, it's driver to iron. So when we look at the fairway wood, you're still going to see a forged carbon sole. It's not quite built the same as the driver in the sense that it's not a full 360 carbon chassis. There are two steel. There are two steel bars that kind of run on the sole, but a lot of that is for durability, right? Like this is a club that you're going to be hitting off the
Right.
ground, you're going to be hitting off the turf. So we need those in there for that, and then it also kind of helps bring our CG down a little bit as well.
Well, to be honest, doing a fairway wood, you don't have the issues with weight as you do so much for the driver because the overall size is
Yeah.
just so much smaller. So
Smaller.
you don't have quite the issue on trying to save weight everywhere.
It looks pretty shallow. The head, top
It
to
does,
bottom.
actually.
Which is good.
They are definitely shallow. All the shapes are. There's 3 models here that'll match the driver. So you'll have your standard Paradigm, your Paradigm X, and then your Paradigm Triple Diamond. We brought a lot of the same ball speed technologies that we did before. So we're still going to have the tungsten speed cartridge. They're still going to have the jailbreak with Batwing technology. That's actually changed a little bit. If you look at the previous iteration, or I guess it's the Rogue ST Max iteration, it's on both the heel and toe side. But what we're doing with the fairway wood now is we've got it in the toe side, and we've brought adjustability to the 3 woods.
Oh.
So you can
good.
actually, from a fitting perspective, that's great because fitters can go in and that's the club they're fitting with. But that actual component, the hosel setting or the hosel adapter adds stiffness like the jailbreak would. So we're getting that sort of high stress area on the face is flexible, and then the jailbreak and the adapter are able to create the stiffness we need to transfer the energy to the ball.
Cool.
Gotcha. Well, it looks great, too.
Yeah, they really do look great, and I think from an ID perspective, I think the whole family just looks really good. It's some of the best looking clubs we've ever made.
Yeah.
And then your hybrid as well, pretty much same technology as the fairway woods? I would
Yeah, so
think?
we've brought a lot of technology into the hybrid from the fairway wood. So you're going to see a lot of the ball speed technologies, like the tungsten speed cartridge. That's brand new to the hybrid. The jailbreak with Batwing is now being adapted to the hybrid. So we're bringing those types of things. It's got a face cup. It's got the AI optimization. So both the fairway and the hybrid are sharing those.
Tungsten. Touch on the tungsten one again. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's a tungsten speed cartridge. So that's in the fairways this year for Rogue ST Max. We brought that in. It's basically adding weight closer to the face on the sole side. So you can get
So
lower
that's up
launch,
here
lower
somewhere
spin.
in this area?
Yes, exactly.
So behind this, or is this actually
No, that is
tungsten?
the
Yeah,
tungsten
okay,
speed
so
cartridge.
this is actually the piece he's talking
Yeah,
about.
that was
yeah.
it. And that's got the,
So you
the
move that a
rubber
bit
underneath
forward
it.
so that you get higher ball speeds, basically.
Exactly.
And keep the spin down. Yep.
Yep. And so having that in the hybrid this year as well.
How much does that tungsten plug weigh?
I think it's 23 grams.
Okay, so that's quite a bit then. That's enough to actually do something.
Yeah.
Hybrid family to match the driver fairway family.
Yeah, so we're going from 4 models to 2 in the hybrid. So we're going to have the standard Paradigm model, and then we'll have the Paradigm X. What you'll notice too, and we didn't really get a chance to touch on it, is the shaping has changed quite a bit.
Gotcha.
So previously, Callaway, we've had a lot of more, I'd say, squared off hybrids or more iron-like hybrids.
Yeah.
And the market has really trended towards a fairway wood type of shape and more to this rounder shape. So we're introducing that into this family. I think it's definitely a really on-trend shape. You'll have the standard model that'll be, maybe a little bit closer to like a Rogue ST Pro hybrid in terms of that like rounder shape, but it's a little bit compact. And then you'll have your Paradigm X that'll be a little bit wider, a little bit larger profile for someone that's looking for forgiveness.
Yeah, well, this is the X one here I'm looking at here, and yeah, it definitely looks more fairway looking. A little bit bigger mass, bit bigger size, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, so if you're someone looking for forgiveness from a hybrid,
Right.
you're definitely going to want to take a look at the X model. If you're looking for something that's, hey, I want something more forgiving than an iron, but I still want to be able to work the ball, I still want to be able to move it around, then you would look at the standard model.
Track back to the fairway woods for me on loft option.
Yeah, so we have our core model, Paradigm, will be our broadest offering that goes from a 3 to an 11 wood. We'll also have the Heavenwood.
11 wood.
Yes.
Wow. And that's in the.
So that's in the standard or sort of core model.
So the standard one goes all the way up to 11. Wow.
Yeah, so 3HL, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then the Heavenwood, which is basically a 7 wood with 3 wood length.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the X model will be 3HL, 5, and 7. And then the Triple Diamond will have the strong 3 wood at 13.5 degrees, a 3 at 15, and then the 5 wood.
Okay. And then hybrid. That's what spurred me on that. It was like, how far are we going to go with hybrids this year in terms of loft?
Yeah, so the hybrid goes up to the standard model goes up to, I think it's 27 degrees, and the X model goes up to 30.
Okay, so it's 6-7 iron version of a hybrid.
Exactly.
And then obviously the Big Bertha ones you came out with recently goes all up to 8 hybrid, right?
9 hybrid.
9 hybrids, which is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I said, I think,
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, in that family, you could almost play a full
Right.
bag of hybrids.
I play with
sure
Alice
people
Cooper
will.
now and then. I told him already. I've already seen his new clubs because he's all hybrids.
Go for it. What's next?
Yeah, so I think what we haven't talked about yet at all is the irons.
Right.
And I think we kind of talked about, hey, people are expecting Apex, but we felt with this new construction that we're using that this deserves a brand new name, and that's kind of where the whole family concept came from. So you're going to see a new construction, which it's a hollow body construction, but the way we're kind of going about it is a different flavor. And the reason that we had to do it that way is because of the face material. So the face material is now a 455 face cup. 455 is the same material we're using on the hybrids. You'll see it in fairway wood sometimes. And it's really a great material because it's high strength. So you can go really thin with it. And the thinner face will obviously give you more ball speed, more of that trampoline effect. The problem is when you go super thin is that if you don't have a body or a support system, you're either going to lose energy into the body, and you're not going to get that transfer into the golf ball, or you're going to see durability problems, and you're going to see the top lines cracking, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So what we have, and let me flip to the slide here, is what we're calling a speed frame. And so kind of like a jailbreak for an iron, essentially, we have this we've basically drilled pockets into the back of the iron. And each one of those pockets is different for every loft, and between the two models, they're actually different. And they're kind of designed using AI and FEA analysis to tell us, hey, like where on the golf, like where in the golf club is it going to fail if we don't have these pockets.
Yep.
And again, looking at that, there's no way a person's coming up with that configuration.
Can I see that for a second? I can't see it from my angle, sorry. Oh, yeah, okay.
It's a square, a triangle, and a half moon or something.
So it kind of looks like a spider web. Some people won't see this on podcasts on Spotify, but like a spider web across the face of a golf club, holding it together.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and you might ask, like, okay, so why not like make a cavity back, or why not make a traditional hollow body? Well, the problem is, and you'll hear our director of R&D for irons, Scott Manwaring, talk about the Achilles heel of a hollow body iron is that you're encapsulating the back of the club with metal. So you're basically to get we were talking about the high stress areas, whether you're going to get that energy transfer, to get sorry, how am I trying to articulate this? The back of the iron, you could put all the metal on there and reinforce it and be fine, but you're not going to get the most out of it. So we're basically saying, hey, to what level can we take this to where we're going to get the maximum energy transfer, but also support the face?
So if you peeled the don't try this at home. If you peeled the badge off, you're going to see inside the golf club.
Yes.
Right. Cool.
Yes, you would see.
And is there just one club of these? Is just one iron?
There's 2 irons. So we'll have a standard model, which is more of a player's distance.
Is that this
iron.
one?
Yes, the standard model is kind of the hero model, I should say.
Right.
There's nothing standard about these irons.
So quick question for you, because it comes into players' distance club, is something I would be kind of into. What's the loft on the pitching wedge?
So the pitching wedge is 42 degrees in the
pretty
standard
strong.
and 41 in the X model. So when we're looking at lofts, it is a little bit stronger than where we were with Apex, but based on ball speeds
Well,
and
you got lower
launch angles,
CGs too,
yeah,
so it's
lower
not just the
CGs.
loft that gives you the height. You got a lot more technology to it.
Are you offering? Oh, well, I mean, you must be. But what's your gap wedge? Second gap wedge option.
Yeah, so the standard will go 4 to gap wedge, or sorry, A wedge, and then we'll have a 51 degree where we basically took the G off because it gets confusing.
Yeah.
People don't know what's A, what's G.
Yeah.
So we've
Put the degrees on there. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
great
put the
idea.
degrees on there.
Yeah.
And then for the X model, it'll actually go 4 through PA, just like the standard, but there'll be a 51 and a 56.
Okay. Yeah, makes
So
sense.
much in that set.
So, and that's more of a game improvement type offering.
Right.
It's
How does that compare to the Big Bertha that just came out, which is all titanium, obviously, which is a new
a very-
release as well. We're
yeah.
going to touch on that a bunch because we're talking about this today, but I was impressed by that. That's titanium, basically, same sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a different way of going about it. When you use the titanium, you're kind of changing the variables and the
Right.
problems that you have to solve. For this particularly, I mean, we're dealing with steel as opposed to titanium. So
Yeah, there's
you're-
obviously a cost difference, and the titanium ones are really expensive to make, and I get that. So if you were going to, for a distance sort of for giving kind of a handicap range, where would you put these 2 irons versus that one?
yeah, I'd say the Paradigm Hero model, the core model, is probably a 5 to 12. Maybe someone that's a little bit even better than Apex.
Right.
I would even say it's more of like a Rogue, like a juiced up Rogue ST Pro. The X model is probably more on that like Apex DCB chassis.
Gotcha.
Someone
Right.
it's a game improvement iron
Yeah.
for
Right.
sure. But it looks really good. That's the other thing we've done. We've really totally reworked the shaping. So you're going to see a lot smoother hosel transitions. There's a pre-worn leading edge on both models. The other thing, which I failed to mention, is that the face is forged on these. So you're going to get the feel
Right.
of a forged club and the distance of a game improvement or of a distance iron, right? So
Is there any vibration dampening stuff or anything in this as well, or?
yes, absolutely. So for those that are familiar with the Callaway product, for not familiar with the Callaway product, we have the patented urethane microspheres, which is basically these glass bubbles that we pour into the iron, and they expand once they dry, and essentially they are there to
So it's not actually completely hollow, it's filled with something to help the sound. and
exactly
stuff. Okay, great.
exactly.
Is that's news to me? So this is interesting. But what was that? Was that used in previous models?
Yeah, I think we started using it with the first generation Rogue, which would have been 2017, 2018.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So do you heat them to expand, or that just happens?
No, there's no heat. There's no heating. It's I'm not 100% sure, but I know that there's like basically like a drum that they use that is mixing it, and then they have to pour it in.
Oh, they got time.
Right.
Yeah,
time
it's
thing,
on a
then it
time. Yeah,
expands and-
Okay.
and then it expands. Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah.
And the back of this is carbon.
It's actually a hyperlight medallion, so it's made of aluminum.
Yeah, it doesn't really do much. It's just for cosmetic. And it looks great, though.
Yeah,
it
and
looks
that's-
like, it doesn't look cheap at all. It looks very, very polished and
Exactly, and I think
Mercedes-Benz type, finishes.
yeah, and I mean, a great looking iron is important. It might not do anything for performance, but I mean, you want it to look good in the bag. You want it to be something you can be proud of. So I think we hit the hit the nail on the head with these. I think they look great.
It's pretty classic shape for a Callaway, too. It looks like a Callaway iron, which
Yeah.
is
So Apex line stays.
So the Apex 21 will continue on, and that will continue with that into 23.
Okay. And so you touched on it, and I missed that bit. But our Rogue ST Pro, which I think we did really well
Yeah,
with
we
that
did
iron.
actually really well, surprisingly, because we didn't think that type of iron, that kind of player would really hit it off.
Yeah.
It did really well.
But the standard version of this is essentially getting rid of that.
Yeah, so the core Paradigm model, I'd say is going to be a similar player type.
Yeah.
I think Rogue ST Pro is maybe a slightly better player than what this is, but I think you'll still see a lot of the players that would would have fit.
Well, they
into a
don't
Rogue
look
ST
big or
Pro.
ugly at all. I
No,
mean, you know.
no, they're a very pleasing
they're
shape.
definitely clean looking.
They feel fantastic. When you guys go and hit these, you
It's
guys
not a
will-
super wide sole or anything on this one. I'm sure the X is a little wider than this, but it's pretty.
Yeah, the X will
pretty
have
traditional.
wider soles, a little bit longer blade lengths.
Yeah. The Rogue ST it was a weird one in the sense of like when you say the Rogue, people I think resonate with Apex as the player model, but the Rogue ST I think you could get pretty decent players into it and you just get crazy gains. It's kind of hard to talk a good player into the Rogue, whereas this might be a nice bridge gap of like, well, it's really performance enhancing. It doesn't look terrible, and you might capture both markets still. So
Absolutely, and that's why we went to 2 models. We think we can still capture, most golfers in those 2.
cool. Anything else to add on the Paradigm line?
That is the complete family there, driver to iron.
Awesome.
That was pretty cool. So thank you very much. That was awesome. I hope we get some good feedback on this. I'm looking forward to playing it. I've been playing the ST driver myself, and I love it. So I'm excited to get the Paradigm in play. Appreciate you coming out. We'll see you again when you got new stuff for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Thanks. Can't wait to get this on a robot and see if it's better than my current one, which apparently it is. So it's going to be changing.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.